Hello out there, you're watching everything you need to know about Mage Knight board game, part 21. I'm not kidding, we're that close to being ready to start a game. This is part 21. Look, the map, we've already explored a lot of the countryside tiles. We've seen tiles 1 through 5. Now we're going to take a quick look at tiles 6 through 11. I've rearranged these a little bit. We're going to go ahead and just explore these very, very quickly. First one we're looking at is tile number 6. As you can see, there are mountains, there are forests. An orc marauder would go there. We have hills, 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 and plains. We have a red crystal mine. And here we have a monster den. A monster den, she can move here. Treat it like an empty space. It's not considered an assault. Nothing happens. If she decides to explore this monster den, when she does, or he does, you will draw a brown token. That's a monster. Remember the monsters we went through up there? The werewolves, the gargoyles, minotaurs, things like that. Draw a monster token and fight it. If you win, you get the fame that's on the monster token. You also get 2 random crystals. What you do is you roll a mana die, not one of the mana dice on the source. You roll one of these mana dice, and whatever you get, whatever color comes up, you get that color crystal. So you're going to get 2 crystals. If you roll gold, you choose which color. If you roll black, you get fame +1 instead of a crystal. If you fail to defeat this monster, it stays face up. Anybody, including you, can move back to this space. They can land on this monster. It will not attack them. They can treat it like an empty space. If, however, they choose to fight it, they can fight that monster, and they'll get the fame, and they'll get, again, they'll roll a mana die twice, and whatever color they get a crystal of that color. So this is an empty space if they choose not to explore it. If they are successful in exploring it, they put a shield token here to designate that they're the ones that did that. Moving on to tile number 7. Whoa, we just found another monastery. Right away, we're going to take an advanced action from the advanced actions offer. We're going to add it to the unit offer with our other monastery, and now you can go to either monastery and learn either action. If we decided to burn down either one of these monasteries, as well, we've already done here, we would only have 1 advanced action for the monastery that is still here. We have a swamp here. Remember, that's 5 movement to get through. A lake we can't go through. 2 forests. A magic glade and an orc marauder will be placed there. Don't believe me? There's one. And here we have a dungeon. Now a dungeon can also be treated as a safe space. Okay? You can go to this dungeon and you can choose to explore. If you do, you will draw a brown token. You'll fight another monster. Your units are scared to go down there, so they're going to stay at the top of the stairs. They're not going to join you in the dungeon. You're going to fight that monster without your units. You can use your cards, your skills, your tokens, anything you want to except your units. Also, you're going to have night rules. What that means is during a day, the gold mana is not going to be useful. You can't use that for a basic color. However, you can use the black mana. Remember that Arithia is good at creating black mana tokens. There could also be a depleted mana die in the source that's black, so you can use that to explore the dungeon as well. If you're successful, then you get 2 random crystals. Once again, you don't get 2 random crystals. You're going to roll a mana die, again, one of those mana dice. If you get a basic color, your reward is an artifact. If you get gold or black, your reward is a spell from the spells offer. If you're unsuccessful, you do not leave the token face up here as you would with a monster den. Instead, the monster sneaks back into the dungeon and hides and does not come out. Again, these cards here, okay, you're going to have these site description cards right here so you can refer to them anytime, okay? That is that tile. Next we have tile number 8. And we have a lot of swamp here. Now at this point you're familiar with all the features except this one. This is the ancient ruins. That's those yellow tokens over there where you'll either fight 2 or 3 2 or 3 different enemies, or you will have to donate 3 forms of mana from whatever source, and you'll get 7 victory points, or 7 fame points. The ruins is put face up if it's a day round when this tile is explored. If it's night when this tile is explored, it's inserted face down. At the beginning of the next day round, you'll flip it face up and you'll be able to see what it is. If you don't know what it is, you can still move here and treat it like an empty space, or you can announce that you're going to explore it. If you explore it, you turn it face up, see if you're going to go to combat or turn in 3 mana, and then do so. If you're able to do so, then it stays face up and you just move on. And we have tiles 9, there's some mountains. We have tile 10, there's another mountain, and tile 11, nothing new there. So those are the 11 countryside tiles. Now I should also point out that if you're playing a solo game or a 2-player game of the First Reconnaissance, you're going to use these 8 tiles in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're going to stack them so that, like I just did, you're explaining each of the different features as they come up. So you only have to explain the keep, and then the Mage Tower, and then the monastery. And you can put the site description cards for those over there. It makes it easier to teach people. If you have 3 players, you will use 9 tiles, okay? 1 through 9. If you have 4 players, you'll use all 11 tiles. You'll either use 8 for 1 to 2 players, 1 through 9 for 3 players, or 1 through 11 for 4 players. 9, 10, and 11 don't add any new features, so if you just use the first 8 tiles, you see everything that's on the map. Over here, we have core tiles. We have our 4 core tiles that have cities on them. We have our 4 core tiles that have non-cities on them. The features that are added to the core cities, or the core tiles, are going to be a tomb, which is like a dungeon, except that instead of fighting 1 monster, you're going to fight 2 monsters. Again, you can't use your units, and night rules apply. And if you're successful, your reward is both a spell and an artifact, whereas in a dungeon you had to roll and get either one. You have to fight 2 monsters. I'm sorry, you fight a Draconum. You fight a Draconum, and if you're successful against the Draconum, then you get both a spell and an artifact. Over here, this feature is called a spawning grounds, and if you were to go here, you could announce you're going to explore it. Again, that's voluntary. You don't have to explore it. But if you do, then you fight 2 monsters, and if you're successful, you get 3 crystals, which you'll roll for. You don't decide, you roll. And if you get gold, you choose. If you get black, then you get fame +1. And you get an artifact. This one, you have a ruins, you have green, and here's the Draconum. Once again, this is a marauding enemy, so if you were to move from one space adjacent to this Draconum to another one, it would provoke it and it would attack you. So if you were on a different tile and you move towards this Mage Tower, you use 5 movement to go here because it's a swamp. You assault the Mage Tower. That's going to provoke this Draconum. He's going to jump in the attack. Okay? This one, same thing. Draconum. There's a keep. There's a mountain. There's an ancient ruins. And this one, there's a tomb. I already explained that. And you know what that is. And that's all 4 of the core non-city tiles. You're going to take 2 non-city core tiles. You're going to take one of these at random, green, red, blue, or white, one of these city tiles, and 2 of the non-city tiles. So you're going to have 3, and you don't know what they are. You take 3 random core tiles, one of them's a city, you shuffle them up, okay? You just take them and you just mix them up together. And you take those 3 tiles, again I assure you one of these is a city, and you put it right there, okay? You take all these countryside tiles. You're going to take 11 in a 4-player game. You're going to take 9 in a 3-player game. And you're going to take 8 in a 1 or 2-player game. You're going to put them in order so 1's on the top and 8 or 9 or 11 is on the bottom. And you're going to put them on top of this one. You're going to draw the top 2 tiles, tiles 1 and 2. And they're going to go right here. Okay, to form this triangle, you'll put out your Orc Marauders, and that's the beginning of the game. Okay, so you'll have your tile deck, you'll have your starting tiles, you'll have your hero. The last thing you're going to do is decide your tactics. During the daytime, you have 6 tactic cards, and remember I said those round order tokens go up there. That's so you can determine what order you're going to play in. And you're going to start at the bottom, the person with the bottom round order token. is going to pick first. Whoever has the lowest number of these tactics is going to go first. For example, if somebody takes this one, Early Bird, they're going to go first. That's guaranteed. Someone takes Rethink, they're going to go first, unless somebody has this one. Somebody has Mana Steal, they're going to go first, unless somebody gets this one or this one. Basically, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what order they're going to take their turns. So you might ask, well, wouldn't you just want the earliest one? Well, the tactics are a little better the later you go in the game. For example, the Right Moment. This one says one time during this day you can announce you'll take another turn after this. You flip this card over and you immediately take a second turn. That's pretty good. You get 2 turns in a row. This one, Great Start, allows you to draw 2 cards immediately when you take this tactic. Planning. This card says if you have at least 2 cards at the end of your turn before you draw, you can draw like your hand limit is 1 higher. You're basically getting an extra card in your hand if you end your turn with at least 2 cards. And I should mention, you don't have to play your cards, so that's very possible. Mana Steal. This one says when you take this tactic, you take 1 mana die of a basic color from the source. You put it on this card, you can use it, and when you're done, you roll it and put it back on the source. And Rethink says you can look at your hand, you can discard up to 3 cards, including wounds. Then you can draw that many cards, and then shuffle your discard pile into your deck. Okay, so you're basically getting a mulligan on 3 cards, but you're guaranteeing that you're not going to get those 3 cards back. And then, of course, Early Bird, the only feature is that you get to go first. For night rounds, what you're going to do is flip this board over from day to night. You are going to re-roll the mana dice. Again, if you get any gold, they're going to be depleted. They go over here, just like black would be depleted during the daytime. If there are still any units that have not been recruited, they're going to get cleared. You're going to put them at the bottom of the unit deck. If there are still any advanced actions for monasteries, they're going to go away. You're going to look at the map and see how many monasteries you have not burned down and draw that many advanced actions, and they're going to go here. You're also going to take as many units as there are players plus 2 and put them out. If you discovered a core tile at this point, you're going to alternate between the elite deck and the regular deck. Note you're not going to do that for this first mission, but in later missions that's what you'll do. You'll alternate this one, this one, this one, this one until you have enough. You're also going to remove the bottom card from the advanced action offer and the bottom card from the spell offer and put them at the bottom of their respective decks. Then you're going to move the other cards down, flip over the top card, and that's how you replenish those offers. Also, you're going to take care of your player area. If you have any units that you've spent, you have a unit here that has this token on it, it's readied. It goes back up there. You can use that unit again. If you have any banners, if you have any skills, anything that was flipped face down till the end of the round, those now get flipped face up. You take your deck, you take your discard pile, you shuffle everything together to get a new hand, and then you draw your tactic. Drawing tactics is the last thing you're going to do after you've drawn your opening hand. That way you know if you need help from your tactics or not. In night rounds, we have 6 different tactics. We have From the Dusk, which just guarantees you're going to go first. We have Long Night, which says if your deed deck's empty, you can shuffle your discard pile and put 3 cards at random back in your deed deck, and then flip this face down when you've done that. Mana Search, which allows you to re-roll up to 2 mana dice in the source at the beginning of each turn, although you have to roll gold first. Midnight Meditation, which lets you shuffle up to 5 cards, including wounds, from your hand back into your deed deck and then draw that many cards. And again, you can only do that once, and then you have to flip this face down. Preparation lets you search your deck for a specific card and add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. And Sparing Power, this one's pretty interesting. This one says at the beginning of each turn, you can either draw the top card of your deck and put it under this card, or you can take the cards you already have under this card and add them to your deck. So you're basically saving up your cards to have a really big mega hand at a certain point. And that's all there is to it. This is a pretty simple game, actually. And Trivial Pursuit ain't got nothing on this game. Okay. So that's everything. Once you get these tiles cleaned up and make the tile deck, put out your spell offer and your advanced action offer if you'd like to. Again, I would recommend you don't do it the first time because that would confuse people perhaps. You have your enemies, you have everything all set up, you have your day-night board with the day side up, You put out as many units as you have actual players +2. You have everybody set up their play offer, their player area, and you're ready to go. The object is to explore enough of the map until you turn over a core tile that has the city. When you've done that, then everybody takes one more turn, including the person that found the city, and that's it. That's the end of the game. And we're going to add up some bonuses, which I'll explain in the next video, and you're ready to go. So I'm going to come back with some final notes. I'm sure you've enjoyed watching all these videos. If you still have any guests left at your meetup that have sat through all 21 of these videos and are ready to begin playing this game, it only takes about an hour and a half. It'll go by pretty quickly. If you've sat through this much, you're ready for the last little bit. This has been part 21 of everything you need to know about Mage Knight board game. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. GLHF. Good luck. Have fun.